Good morning. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm great, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I'm buzzing with the reaction and the reception that the Mojo Rawley interview got. People
mate.
finally are sharing in my love of one Dean Mutardi. It's a good weekend, and I can't wait to do some news with you, Sam.
Oh, you bloody sweetie.
Oh, yeah.
No, you, what you like?
All right, tosser. Daniel Bryan reportedly debuting at All Out. We've got the inspiration behind Becky Lynch's heel turn, and the new NXT logo has been revealed. Ooh! Starting off with some very big news indeed. Yes. According to a new report, Bryan Danielson is now scheduled to debut at AEW's All Out pay-per-view. This comes from Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net, who's more than been on the money lately, it has to be said. And he wrote, I was told also that the decision was made after concern continued to grow internally over COVID-19 as mandates and restrictions have tightened in New York. So unless they decide to push the debut even further to TNT, it looks as though Danielson's debut is a lock for Chicago. He apparently, reportedly, signed all the way back in July. Ooh. So he's been on the books for a little bit, eh? That's a bit of a shocker in itself.
Yeah, like, it's amazing how much this stuff just stays on lock at AEW. It's nice. It's like that stuff's not just, leaking out all over the place like that. Because if this was WWE, it'd be like spotted at the performance.
About? But this is a leaked report.
No, but you know what I mean. If it's July, like had it been WWE, would it be like, well, seen at Stamford, seen at the Performance Center, reported here, teasing, like, and
sure.
This is just, it's nice that this is, while kind of like Punk, everybody knows it's coming. The means in which he's going to arrive aren't quite solid yet.
Well, that's the thing, especially with Punk, and I guess here with Bryan too. It's not actually going to do them much damage, if any, for this to be a poorly kept secret. More people are going to tune into AEW All Out as a result of this, as if they needed that with the card that they've got and Punk's return match and everything. I'm very, very excited about this, and alongside Punk, and if they were to get Wyatt, for example, these are game-changing names. These are names that do create proper competition, as far as I'm concerned. They've got name value. They're familiar to all audiences, both casual fans and proper pro wrestling fans. And so it's just a very exciting time to be a fan, eh?
Yeah, I just think that they're onto something great here, and provided they can use people like Bryan and Punk, who, likely aren't going to be with AEW for like 10-year stretch, if they can use them in such a way to elevate the company and then elevate younger talent, it's all they need, because there is going to come a day where they're not, active in-ring competitors, and we need to make sure that the stars are ready to go. But since Punk arrived, it's felt a bit like a war now, but this just, as you said, solidifies it in the sense that there's just more of an offering for everybody, no matter your taste, if more names just keep popping up. But I guess, like, however many people WWE choose to release, it's got to slow down surely soon at some point, because I there's all the talk of Adam Cole, but then what happens if more huge names get released? Is AEW going to keep picking up on them, or is it going to be?
Well, absolutely. Either roster can only be so large, and given the amount of TV time that either company have, and I think AEW especially do quite a good job of featuring wrestlers across their programming and making sure that everybody's got a bit of time. WWE not so much.
No.
But just on the note of using Punk and Bryan to build new stars, AEW have a pretty good track record of that so far. The people that they have brought in, your Arn Andersons, your Tully Blanchards, your Stings, they've all been used to elevate new stars. And even like full-timers, Chris Jericho. He's on the roster good and proper, but he's elevated countless names, whether they beat him or not.
And everybody's just wearing so many hats, and it's nice to see. You've got people working with management. You've got like stuff like, Jericho will be doing commentary, as you said, active in ring, managing, and just cutting promos. Like, just the idea of letting these people just do a bit of everything is refreshing.
It really is. Speaking of All Out, Another big match added to that pay-per-view, which we'll go through the card really quickly in a minute or so, because it's
stacked,
proper stacked.
Man.
It's
stacked.
crazy. Anyway, the Lucha Bros facing the Young Bucks for the tag gold after they won the tournament final on last night's Rampage in a great match. And Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks.
What more do you need to say?
Fairer than that. Yeah, we're not gonna. It's gonna be
just
quite
get ready
an
for
exciting
some
match,
amazing wrestling. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, too right. Lots of leg slapping going on. We'll go through the card very, very quickly because it is nuts. You've got the Women's Casino Battle Royal. You've got Miro versus Eddie Kingston. Yes, please.
Yes.
That's going to be meaty. You got Paul White versus QT Marshall.
Making his debut, yeah.
You got Pac versus Andrade. Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. All right, you okay? You got Jericho versus MJF. If Jericho loses, he will never wrestle in AEW again. You got Punk versus Darby. You got Britt versus Chris Statlander. You've got the Bucks versus the Lucha Bros. You got Kenny versus Christian Cage. It's a huge card. It's going to go on about 10 hours.
But it's a pleasure all the way through. Like, you wouldn't mind that being 10 hours.
I can't watch it live. This is one of the first ones that I can't do. I'm at a wedding that day. I'm gutted. Punk's in-ring return and maybe Daniel Bryan coming back and all sorts. I'm devastated. But hey, it's gonna be a really, really good show. Back over to WWE now. The inspiration for Becky Lynch's heel turn. We saw maybe a little shade of it last night. Becky apologising for nothing at SummerSlam. But the inspiration behind that, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was Roman Reigns, the big dog, the tribal chief. Dave says that Lynch had asked to return as a heel. Some have said in the company she was inspired by Reigns. The reality is, to many, being a heel is a lot more fun. Of course, the last time she tried to go heel, she became the most popular wrestler in the company and the hottest women's wrestling star the company had ever had. So that makes sense because I feel like, I don't want to say that Becky's babyface stuff was played out, but she needs something fresh coming back.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen if this will actually elevate Bianca. A lot of people are saying that the heel turn was there, the 20-second match or whatever it was just there to hopefully get more people behind Bianca.
Yeah.
And that's cool and everything. And I hope that is the reason that it was done. But we've been burned so many times before. Most recent, maybe Lana recently. We all thought that was going to lead to something.
I'm too cynical a person, so I you can tell me that it was all pre-planned and everything, but it just feels reactionary now because it was such a shocking loss after Bianca had done so much to elevate herself throughout lockdown and bring the SmackDown Women's Division, with her. So it feels just odd, but fingers crossed, as you said, they can use this to elevate Bianca and she'll not just end up languishing in the mid-card, because that tends to be all too much the reality of it, doesn't it, when these kind of situations unfold?
It always feels like WWE, they start pushing other women's wrestlers, Nikki Ash, Asuka, for example, Carmella, Bianca, right? But they always end up just going back to those four horsewomen. They always end up going back to Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, Becky. Yeah,
it's kind of like we've never left that 80s mentality of just have that pack at the top and everything else can mill around it. And when you need, you can kind of, bring people to and from the pack. But the kind of core unit always remains the same, and it works. And for the most part, and you've got that range of talent. Usually, there's 4 or 5, or so at the top of each pack. But it at the same time, it was nice to see something different, and it was nice to have Bianca have that massive moment and then carry everything through. And
we'll see where it goes, but we've been burned so many times, so it's difficult to feel optimistic about stuff like this. But hey, let's give it a chance. Us wrestling fans are very good at that. Braun Strowman teasing a new name and destination, perhaps, on Twitter. What's gone down here, Sammy?
Braun's been kind of talk of the town a little bit every now and then following his release, because there was he said, well, I'm kind of, if that's me done in wrestling, that's me done. Never say never, but if WWE want me back, that's all I ever wanted to do. Blah, blah, blah. Takes an indie booking in Qatar. And from that point on, it was like,
Indie
okay,
booking.
will he... Well, he took a booking in Qatar that wasn't a major wrestling promotion. But he's got this air around him where it's like he could go to AEW, he could work in Impact, but he took to Twitter to kind of continue that little hype train going. And he tweeted, "Remember in life, if you're going to do something, make sure you make an impact. Carve your name in stone, ! Space hashtag Titan."
Thanks for the exclamation points there. So the key words there, make sure you make an impact.
Yes.
Carve your name in stone. Titan. Didn't they have a wrestler called Titan before? Or was that Triton?
Triton?
Triton
Isn't Triton
Impact.
King of the Sea?
Oh no, Triton. Yeah, Ryan Wilson, former OVW heavyweight champion. But they need a Titan now.
Well,
if that is where it's going, then cool, good for him. I'm sort of doubtful on this because the reason they released Braun was because he was so bloody expensive.
Yeah.
And maybe he's taken a major pay cut. Maybe they've stumped up the cash. I don't know. But
maybe he's just had a change of mind. Maybe he lives near Impact wherever they tape it, and maybe he's able to kind of just dip in and out and work a very favourable schedule without having to travel much. It could be something like that. Like you know, if it works out for all parties, it might not be a long-term deal, but it would be cool, definitely, just to see what Braun in another promotion would look like, because he is very much a product of the WWE system.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he is valuable.
Oh yeah. I reckon
he
you know
brings
if he
a lot
popped
to the
up,
table.
people would be curious enough to at least watch the initial part of that run wherever it is.
I think people should keep an eye on the old US trademark registry, because you got to imagine that if that's going to be his name, then a certain Adam, what's his name? Adam Scher?
Adam Scher
will be trademarking Titan. Or maybe he just likes those biscuits from Aldi. What are they? Rip-off Mars bars, Titan bars. Tastes just as good as the real thing. We are finishing off with the new logo, possible theme being revealed for NXT. Wale tweeting out a video last night. He broke the news here. I don't know if it was meant to be him.
So I believe it's Wale's song, Down South, but the logo kind of comes in. You see all these splashes of paint and colour, and it's very, very colourful, like not unlike another indie-rific promotion that's going around these days. But you're seeing lots of colour and everything, and then eventually an outline, and then a logo filled with splashes of colour. You can see the logo now down below. Ooh, isn't it lovely, Adam? Ooh, it's sexy.
I
sweet
don't mind
and
it,
pointy.
I don't know why they would do the whole rainbow paint splat thing. It must be said that the NXT thing is more splatting, whereas AEW was more spraying. The comparison is there, isn't it?
All I'm going to say is that the Nasty Boys are owed money by somebody. But yeah, the logo. I was quite apprehensive about this because everybody's apprehensive about everything to do with this NXT shake-up. And the idea that WWE is changing the most precious thing they have. And the logo and everything's been a staple for so long, but you forget how long it's been around. It does make sense to do a rebrand, and I think they have done enough with it to... It still feels like NXT, but it's slightly different. It's a little bit pointy on the sides, though, almost like TNA-esque.
I like the shape of the logo. I really do. You've got to imagine that Big Trips hates this. All of his gothic heavy metal stuff, skulls everywhere, all that sort of stuff, gone. It looks like a kid's birthday party
Nick Khan
now.
just backstage at the Performance Centre. There's just a row of Motorhead CDs, and he's got a bin in front of him. Just puts a single Wale song on an iPod there. Just boom.
It's been gold, forever. It's going to be weird. But you know what? People have been down on NXT for a while, saying it doesn't feel like it used to. And I'm actually really willing to give this a chance. I think mixing things up might help it.
And as much as we talk about Triple H in this situation, Nick Khan has said at every step that he is involved. Like, no matter how much we want to believe or disbelieve it, but he is apparently involved, and he is going to be helping spearhead this new movement.
He's involved in the way that somebody will go to him and say hey, this is what the new logo is going to look like. These are the colours.
He was, what was the quote?
I don't buy
One of the driving factors of NXT's success.
Yeah,
I think that was...
Of course he was. Of course he was. But I feel like this isn't working. I think this has been taken out of his hands.
Yeah,
I don't buy it for a second. I think that was Nick Khan trying to make Triple H.
I agree with you. I'm just trying to look on the bright side, mate. I just don't want NXT
That's important.
I don't want NXT to change.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it needs a shot in the arm. I'm
does,
excited about this. This could turn out good.
It
We'll
could.
see.
It could.
Give it a chance. Anyway, we will be back in a little bit with some more delicious news. Take care of yourselves. See you in a little bit. Bye.
Tatty bye.